expected to be making it far in this season of the Prem, and they have delivered. They've got themselves through to the playoffs. Now we have a best of 3 between them to decide who is going to the grand final. We are underway into this one, and to kick things off, Vexed are going to up the pace straight onto the B-bomb site. Thomas with 2 kills off their back right from the get-go, but the push coming into B, and Mighty Max is still here waiting in the water. 2 kills for him. Mighty Max stepping up on this B site, like I was saying in the pre-game, and without the Kevlar, Astro is not in the best position here, having to dip into the smoke. He does get away with 1 kill, but now they know exactly where he is on the CT side.
Does trade himself out for a USP. There's a whole lot of time left on the clock, but they know that this bomb is dropped in a compromising position, so it still has to be a B-sided play. Mighty Max, I think, repositioning to get some peering eyes from afar. He has the high ground, so Astro has to reevaluate his approach. Does begin to run himself away from B, and I think he was just within earshot for Surreal to have heard that rotation, so he takes up a different position. And things aren't looking good for Astro. His only repositional move that he's made has been heard to some degree, so Connector is all the more a possibility that Endpoint are prepared for, and Surreal's in a great off angle to deal with it. 3, 2, 1, and Surreal, yeah, dials in the round for Endpoint, and it really did come off the back of those quick initial frags from both Thomas and Mighty Max to get the ball rolling for Endpoint.
Yeah, Thomas getting flashed in for the initial peak, the initial aggression, something that we were pointing out in the pre-game. And then Mighty Max, I think, likes to just sit back more on the B-bomb site and play around that water position and try and, I think, kind of outmaneuver his opponents almost and outposition them. And he did so pretty well in that round as he got away with those 2 kills. The second shot was especially nice and precise. And now Vex not forcing up into the second round. A grand total of $600 spent into this one from Vex. So they're really just looking for a kill or 2 out of this round. They won't be expecting much else.
Well, Robin's going to feel a lot of pressure initially towards the bathrooms. A lot of damage done. 1 frag found, but does fall to the onslaught of Vex players. There's an SMG recovered, and yeah, these opponents are tagged down low. It makes things a little easier for players like Crucial with his own SMG. But getting spotted out makes things a little bit more difficult. Again, just ideally looking for a couple of kills here on this Vex side if they can attain them. It doesn't seem like that's going to be a possibility. Ultimately shut down by the A side defense with the superior weapons. But now Vex can buy. And with the AKs in heavy force and so many SMGs still in the Endpoint side, this, of course, does lend itself to be a bit of a advantage for Vexed, but we've certainly seen these MP9s deal a lot of damage. I'm curious to see how they position to get the maximum effectiveness out of this, given that Crucial is the A-side player and Max has the secondary SMG as well.
What is this for Vex? Quick walk through Monster. That's not going to work out for them. Surreal is very ready for that. No flash through from Vex either. They had flashes available, they just didn't use them. And Surreal even uses a nade to get himself the AK. Pretty much the perfect start to the round for Surreal.
He has another AK at his feet if he wanted to give that over to Max as well. So, yeah, he'll throw one over, he'll retrieve another.
This is like a dream for Surreal right now. When I dream of Counter-Strike, Yumi, this is what my dreams look like.
People going through a smoke and not shooting back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or more likely, in an actual game, I'm like the Vex players just walking through a smoke and dying.
It's like they'll never expect this. I mean, to go for that so early on as well leads me to believe that fairly often Endpoint will throw a smoke deep like that and leave it be, but Surreal could very well be on here for the ace. He's found 4, he's consistently spamming away. Fry is low HP as well. Surreal really wants it because he knows Fry's on the other side. Fry is going to reposition and ultimately concede the ace possibilities. Not too happy if you're Surreal, but I mean, that round was about as easy as he could have laid it out to be.
Yeah, this is concerning for Vexed. Slow start for them on Overpass. Pistols brought into this upcoming round. It is Desert Eagles across the board. Not much going their way at the early stages of this one, especially in that gun round. I think that was obviously a bit of a risk, that call that they took, but I assume into the future rounds we won't see quite such a risk taken there. Maybe they thought they had a read on their opponents, that they were just going to try and get going for their first gun rounds. But I'm sure next round they'll just hold a default. It's not going to look quite as one-sided. This one might be one-sided, though, as Thomas opens up the proceedings.
Crucial holding the offense towards bathrooms, lines them up for the spray, and Robin peeks alongside him. So a clean and methodical, not a single piece of damage.
Well, that's nice. It was against the Deegs, which are obviously looking for the headshots. So that is worth saying something. But here comes the buy for the Vex side of things. Like we were saying, they should, I think, slow it down now. Astro's got the AWP in hand. AKs for the rest of the team. They also have nades to work with. A couple of early mollies and a smoke into mid from the CTs. Endpoint are going to fight for this mid control, and it's not going to work out for them. Jenko ready for the aggression of Robin, and you need to be ready for the aggression of Robin because he's going to be aggressive a lot of the time. Thomas also taking a fight in connector, but Jenko is ripping off heads in this round. Thomas has got to fight his way out of this, and he's done so. 3 kills for Robin in the midst of the connector, and he gives Endpoint the edge in this round.
Now, given how well things started for Vex, you thought maybe they make things as awkward as possible. Thomas really bails them out by finding those 3 frags because he could have easily fallen back. It holds firm control of the connector as well, so a quick rotationary point for Vex has a player still lingering inside of it. And that's Endpoint throwing those Molotovs consistently for the past 2 or 3 rounds, now only implementing the aggression alongside it. It's a good sign for Vex that they spotted out early. Thomas dealt with. That's a great pick to find as it opens up the B side as a possibility as well. And Astro's found another frag alongside it. Now just Surreal on the rotation to try and get back onto this A bomb site as this bomb can get planted safely for Vexed.
Bomb has been planted.
Oh, Pulse has got this angle. Surreal just about gets into the open. He's yet to die in this game. He's hoping to keep that record. Smoke drop into the bomb. Surreal goes through, and the timing's not quite right for him. Pulse has repositioned, so Surreal is finally dealt with for the first time in this game, and Vexed finally have their first round win on the board. But with Endpoint having won some of these earlier rounds, their money is absolutely fine. Crucial picks up the AWP. The rest of the team will also be buying. Full buy for the CTs, so we get another gun round into round 6.
Of course, the AWP still being firmly held by Astro. Crucial tried to go for the initial peek alongside the Molotovs deployed, but because it was extinguished so early and the flashes came through, hard to stay there for very long without feeling too much pressure. Like you said, not going for anything too outlandish on the side of Vex, playing out the default and just working the map slowly to eliminate some of the possible angles here from Endpoint.
This is more of what you expect on Overpass. It's normally the slowest map we have in the pool right now, because you have to slowly take some map control with the nades on the T side before you can really approach the bomb sites, especially on A, where you have to clear out the bathrooms and A long. Sometimes the CTs will even challenge you at mid, which is something you have to deal with. So oftentimes it's the utility used early, which gains you ground towards the bomb site. It's not been the case in this round, though. Endpoint is still fighting for bathrooms with a couple of players stacked in that position. And if Vexed aren't careful here, they could be caught out by this.
There's only 40 seconds left, so they don't really have too much time to clear out these bathrooms, and they're setting up for nades. They have to clear this close angle. Robin lets the first one pass for at least a small delayed peak, but they're keeping them contained in towards the bathrooms for now. The utility's been expended. They're causing a whole lot of problems on the potential site take for Vex, and it's just Jenko. 1 versus 2 has to go back to recover this bomb, and he doesn't know if there's another player lurking by the wayside to cut off his transition to the site. Has to commit and get this bomb planted as fast as possible, but there's the flanking player, and Max will execute him from behind. It's a late execution from Vex, given the amount of control that was potentially still in Endpoint's hands, and they ultimately fall short as a result of uncleared angles.
Yeah, and this is the kind of map where you oftentimes can't get away with not clearing out all your angles and not clearing out all your positions. That's exactly why normally teams take their time clearing out the bathrooms and clearing out all those spots, because if you begin your execute and you've got a player right next to you who can cause all sorts of issues, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And that's exactly the position Vexed found themselves in there. Oh, that nade, well timed, does damage to 3 of the Vexed players as they push B.
And push they shall. Max holding it from water. Surreal there to prevent a push from his backside. And these smokes are making things very, very difficult for these Vex players to find anything, and they will find nothing as a result of it. That one smoke deployed in front of the pillar, but all the space that Endpoint needed to make that a clean, methodical round.
Yeah, and this is one of the concerns that you could have had ahead of Overpass, is that I don't think this is a particularly strong map for either team. I think Vexed really needed to make sure that they were on their A game and had put some time into Overpass if they were going to go for this pick. And unfortunately, the T side is oftentimes where if you're not a very strong Overpass team, you can struggle. And Vexed have started off slow on this T side, with Endpoint having the option to choose CT side to start this game. And if they're not careful, this could easily spiral out of control for the Vexed side. They need to start getting some rounds here. That helps.
Yeah, very fast shot to open things up by Fry. Jenko will try his luck at a kill of his own, but Surreal and Thomas have worked in tandem to get a couple of frags right back for the Endpoint side. So that early advantage that was found by Fry has been since lost. I was trying to keep these players guessing here over at the B-bomb side, however. The bomb's still very far and away from any of the players really on the side of Vexed, as they're attempting to work the map individually. Fry has to go back and recover it. It does seem like they'll rendezvous towards the A site. This kill towards Thomas or Astra will likely indicate how this round plays out. He spots just the narrowest point of his head above the truck. He's waiting for the right chance to strike, and there it is. Thomas thought he had the off angle. He thought he could get the drop on Astra, but as a result of just a tiny bit of information, Astra hits the shot. That brings it to the 3-on-3 where they have the site fully at their disposal.
Robin is so patient here. Pulse has no clue what's about to hit him. Well positioned by Robin in that round, or in that spot over at A long, and now Vex are holding back from the bathrooms, and there are Molotovs available. Robin's got one which could cut off one of these sides. Mighty Max just takes the fight though, and now Fry, he's mollied out of position. He's got to deny the defuse, which he will not be able to do. Robin gets a double kill, and Endpoint pick up a 7-1 lead. At least a bomb plant for Vex keeps their money strong, but with all these rounds going against them, they decide it's time to take a chill pill and to take a timeout.
That Molotov at the end there almost acted like a flashbang. The way it bloomed in his face, you couldn't see a thing moving into the site. It is a, like you said, timely timeout for Vexed. 7-1 is definitely not how they had hoped to start this one off after their previous series against Nerd Rage, where they consistently got off to strong starts. It is instead the other side of the coin. They're on the receiving end of a really strong start from Endpoint. And I can't stop thinking about that third round, that first gun round from Vex, where they decided to push through the smoke. You talked about the work and making sure Overpass was a strong map for them. To make a call like that so early on into the game, like you said, definitely indicates that they had some kind of a read, or they thought they had some kind of a read on their opponents, which may have since been sealed up by the Endpoint guys.
Yeah, and if they were going into this map assuming that they had some of those reads that would get them rounds on the T side, then that's basically the worst way to start the game, is having one of those reads go against you. And now Vex are going to walk up into the bathrooms. Thomas not ready for the close players. Crucial could be in trouble here. He has to reposition, and he's so exposed that Stanley can get him from the side. So finally, Vex win some trades onto this A-bomb site. They've got the smokes to lock off this rotation, and they should be getting the bomb down safely, but they haven't checked for Robin. Again, the A-long man takes his time, and that's a big mistake from Vex. Robin pounces in the back lines once again, and now it's Vexed who have to try and salvage this bomb site. Mighty Max is here. He's up on top of the site box, and he's got another kill for his team, but he's the only man left. It's Mighty Max in the 1v1. Drops the flash over the top. Stanley has made his position known, and Mighty Max takes the fight. Well played by Max. He has now got 10 kills to his name, only the one death. He's been beasting alongside the rest of this Endpoint squad.
Another time, it's the same player, the same position. This time a little bit closer, and Vex just don't expect it. They've got that player through the bomb site. Robin's let him pass. The smoke made it so that they didn't have sight lines of one another, and that one kill really opened things up and allowed Max to operate. Didn't think it was going to be so one-sided, but this is what happened the last time these two teams faced. We had the same words iterated, and well, once again, Surreal lines them up over at Monster. He does significant damage to Fry, and that's the round done and dusted. 9-1 for Endpoint, as Vex look to muster up another bye.
Oh, I think it's fair to say that Endpoint are getting the better of Vexed right now. And that is putting it nicely. Buy comes through, as you were pointing out. Crucial's got this orb. He hasn't had too much success on this mid peak, but he's going to go for it this time round. Astro's waiting, but Jenko is the man who's caught on the cross. Robin was also helping out with some flashbangs, and with an early man advantage, Endpoint don't have to go for any further aggression, but Robin's been caught in connector, and now Thomas is very vulnerable here. The lineup not going to happen for him. Stanley gets a nice couple of kills, and Vex again trade their way onto A.
Yeah, Max should be able to get here in time for this rotation to the site. Smoke is well deployed to try and give him a little bit more room to work with. Has the shadow to his advantage, but Pulse still knocks down the shot. That is the cleanest time we've seen Vex get this bomb site, get it planted, and get into a nice advantage. Surreal will still look to attempt a retake. Nade to sail on through, see if he can convert the damage done on Pulse. Instead, bring Stanley low. The Molotov as well will flush one out into the open. Stanley with the AWP though posted has his number. The most convincing round that Vex has had so far in this half. And all off the lingering presence off of Endpoint after getting that initial pick. Like you said, probably didn't need to go aggressive, but we're still sort of tempted into it.
Yeah, that's something that this Endpoint roster, I think, struggles with sometimes, just a bit of over-aggression once they get very, very comfortable. And this is a game where, even though they will feel like they're very much in control, if they lose this round, they're actually in trouble with their money.
Yeah.
So they still need to be careful here. You really have no room for error, it feels like, on this CT economy nowadays. And Vex testing the waters on the B bomb site. Mighty Max got caught stuck on the site without much support. Surreal also forced into the open. And again, the trades are good for Vex, but Thomas strikes back with 2 kills and fall like dominoes on the Vex side. Kill back from Pulse, though, means that it's into this 2v2, but Endpoint have fully rotated down to this B bomb site.
Yeah, Crucial's in position with the AWP, so they have this crossfire set up between the two of them, and they're worried about the flank. That's when Robin will pounce, catches both of them completely unaware to his position, and double digits will be accrued by Endpoint. That spray from Thomas brought things so much closer. Really enables the Endpoint players to get that rotation to see success, because Vex understood they took so long to get to the site that suddenly their backsides are exposed.
Ooh, missed molly into mid from Endpoint. Luckily, it's not going to cost them because they're not looking to fight for the mid control. Robin's been blinded, but he's going to hear these players running close by. Robin just holding the smoke for the time being. His teammate on A, Crucial, has been holding A long this entire time, so Robin could back away safely, but it's Robin we're talking about. He's going to play an aggressive position at A long and try and be a nuisance.
Yeah, Astro doesn't have a flash either to peek into this angle, so it has to be dry. It has to be that first phase. Robin will get one. There's teammates to trade things out the other side of things, and they'll be successful in doing so, but Crucial posted with the AWP prevents them from progressing too much further up long, and Surreal's chimed in as well from connector, so they've lost numbers around the map in what feels like an instant, so suddenly they don't really know where's safe and where's not as Crucial repositions with the AWP. Jenko's left alone. At least he has the bomb to his name, but so much of the map needs to be perused, and Crucial takes yet another peek with the AWP to dispatch of any possibilities of Jenko winning it back.
11-2 in favor of Endpoint, and Vexed are not showing many signs of life here. The buy for them in this round isn't ideal either. what it's worth, somehow Robin has managed to get 8 assists so far this game with 9 kills and 7 deaths. So he's been doing a lot of damage, even if he's not been getting all the kills. And Robin, again, looking to do some damage at the start of this round. Nade doesn't land as much as he may have hoped. And Robin is trying to lock this down, but some nice shots from Vex get them into this round.
Yeah, it's these faster plays that seem to be working out in Vex's favor when they've been able to overwhelm these early players at A, so it suddenly has to again be a retake of this A bomb site. They don't know quite how far Vex could have progressed. The smoke over towards the steps does almost cost Astro his life, but they lose a teammate instead. Surreal is just trying to desperately peek over the top of this. Does hear Astro reposition, jumping up high. He almost exposed himself. The smoke will slowly fade. Surreal's in for a bit of a troublesome time as they now move on forward. Once that smoke is gone, the Astro held the angle but dealt with by Thomas. Pushing forward, he almost finds another, but it's now Max once again to pull things back. 1 kill found, but Pulse, the ex-teammate, puts it to bed. Vex get a 3rd round, but it has to be fought for, so tough by the Vex side.
And no easy rounds for Vexed, but at least they get a 3rd on the board, and at least they weaken Endpoint's economy ahead of the last round of this first half. Robin's stuck with the Desert Eagle. Mighty Max has to go down to an MP9. So some slight weaknesses in Endpoint's buy into this round. And a stacking connector. This is something that you do see sometimes from this Endpoint squad. Occasionally they like to mix it up and go for these connector plays and try and catch their opponents out. Astro seems to be ready for it right now, and with Fry coming in from the top of connector, is he ready for this angle? Thomas holding up, and well, Fry looks away. Almost the second for Thomas, but Jenko just about gets the trade.
And they hadn't spotted out that connector aggression here from Endpoint. Maybe just seeing where Thomas was positioned, that could give them a bit of an inkling that that's a possibility. A crucial caught in transition. Stanley was prepared for it. Still haven't found Robin, however, and that's a man you don't want to lose track of if you're Vex. The steps seem to indicate that they think connector is all clear, so Robin could be a huge problem for them as Surreal just tries to stay alive for as long as possible. Oh! Stanley turns around at just the right time.
I think Stanley's going to have whiplash after that one. Had to turn around fully, but he lands the shot, keeps himself alive. And Robin will be kicking himself because that was a chance to get back in the round. And instead, it's Vexed who are just going to run it up to the A site. They seem aware that A is completely clear. Free bomb plant on A. The rotates here. Mighty Max with a kill onto the first man. And Astro's got to be careful. Close range. He could be in trouble. The MP9 comes through from Mighty Max. And the bomb is dropped on the A bomb site. Mighty Max delivers again on that A-sided rotation. And now Jenko's got to save the day. But the flashbang lands in his face. 8 seconds left.
He doesn't have time.
Jenko is desperate. He's desperately looking for the bomb plant. He might just have it in time. Endpoint are rushing him down. And Mighty Max is going to clean up to give Endpoint a 12-3 half. Even just the mental game is going to be hard to get on top of now if you're Vexed. After losing so badly to Endpoint in the regular season on Vertigo, 16-3, you're now 12-3 down on your own map pick against them. It must feel like almost everything is going wrong for Vexed right now. So to stay on top of this, just to stay in the game, is going to be difficult for Vexed. But that's what they've got to do. It's playoff time. It's crunch time. No more excuses. They have to step up on their map pick if they want a chance here on Overpass. And the pistol round would be the best way to start things off.
Look at the position from Stanley already. Making sure that it's not going to be a split towards the B bomb site, but Pulse is alone. He's going to have to stay alive for as long as possible. They plant in the smoke, but Pulse lines them up. 2 quick kills on the USP in an instant. And although they got the site rather easily, they didn't deal with the initial defense from Vexed. Now pushing on through, they have that flank as well from Stanley. Jenko will clean things up. They don't even need the flank in the end. It's a strong hold and retake from the Vex side.
Yeah, Pulse, that former Endpoint player you were talking about earlier, seems to be the one shining light for Vexed in quite a few of these rounds now. Gets himself up to being the top fragger for his team. And gives Vex the all-important pistol round win. But Endpoint are going to be unrelenting in terms of a second round force buy coming right at Vexed. AK in the hands of Robin. The rest of the team pick up pistols. We've seen the Tech 9 have a real resurgence lately. It definitely feels much, much better now. You can run and gun with it a bit. You can actually spam onto the head and oftentimes get some kills. And there are also some Deegs in play. So Vexed can't just assume this round is a freebie. They've got to be aware that a force buy is possible here. Especially off the back of the bomb plant.
Yeah, they know that Endpoint have a lot of options, and given the lead that they have, this is a very likely one. Good initial shot by Jenko. Gives Surreal a bit of a love tap before departing. Robin will perform the same, but this time do one better. A couple of nice kills for Endpoint to start things off, but there's damage done to these Endpoint players, and Pulse is looking to get aggressive. He's mirroring what the likes of Robin and Crucial were doing on this A bomb side, and they don't clear him. He's lining up the first, and he's right between them. He's in the middle of the sandwich. The meat attacks the bread, and he's able to get all 3 kills, spinning around for Thomas as well. The shining light continues to shine for Vexed.
Pulse seemed very aware of what was going on there. As soon as he spotted the one man, he knew exactly what Endpoint were doing, and he knew how to punish them with the MP9. Not easy to get all those kills there with the SMG. But up close, he sprays the first 2 players down and keeps his cool on the turnaround to the last player. So Vexed, with a couple of round wins at the start of this CT side, even if just to build some confidence, this is nice for them, but that's not going to build Astro's confidence. He's just been banged out by Crucial.
Yeah, Stanley trying desperately to still fight for connectors. Some utility deployed to prevent Endpoint from pursuing much further, but Stanley overcommits almost, committing his entire body and life to that position. Pulse able to respond with 1, but does get flurried down by the Deegs. Fry. Oh, they didn't quite expect him to be up so close and personal. There's only 2 more players on the Vex side to deal with, and Fry's found another. The Molotov as well prevents the trade.
Nades onto the B-bomb site though. Fry forced into the open, and he may have saved the day. Fry with all 4 kills on the B-bomb site.
In previous rounds too, when Vex were going fast as well.
Yeah, I think we've definitely got to see what Vexed are going to be doing once we head back into this game, which is ready to go live. We're going to have to see how these gun rounds play out, because I wouldn't expect Endpoint to continue with such crazy aggression now that Vexed are starting to show some signs of life. I think this will be a time probably to slow it down, especially with Crucial having the AWP. He can look for the pick and almost find it. Fires just wide on the first attempt.
Yeah, a couple of warning shots each direction for each respective AWPer. Astro not really known for being the most aggressive with the AWP, but is still taking another peek over at Long and caught Robin. So
solo aggression from Robin, I think.
Yeah, he was out in no man's land early on. Imagine not a lot of utility deployed that direction either. Still, Endpoint have a bit of bathrooms control. The boost actually getting spotted out by Astro. That could have been another pick going the way of Vex. They're certainly reading into how Endpoint are positioning so far. And Endpoint are looking a little bit confused as to how to approach this effectively.
Oh, not a bad flashbang, but Jenko's got too many players against him on the peak. At least that's information gathered, though, and Vex have fully rotated up to this A-bomb site. 3 players here for the time being. They've also got Fry pushed through B, so they know it's an A play right now. Vex are so well prepared on this A site, and they've got this flank. Fry about to pull the trigger in the backside. 2 kills for free, and Thomas has got a 1v3 on his hands. 22 seconds to try and win this, so he has to commit to A, and that means he is going to be done for. Astro's AWP comes in with a triple kill. Fry's flank clinches the round, and Vexed keep on going. This game might not be over just yet.
Yeah, not quite able to stampede over them coming into the second half. Vexed definitely showing some signs of life, waking up on their CT side of things. Maybe this is an indication that, you know, the T sides don't go so well. We'll have to wait and see what Endpoint have in store for us for later rounds. This once again pistols picked up. You can see they're a bit delayed progressing through middle, just making sure they don't get caught out by the AWP of Astro once again.
go. Oh, missed shot from Astro on the first attempt. They've got utility, though, to slow down any potential aggression. And again, Astro can just sit back on a more passive angle. Should be pretty happy holding these positions. Although Endpoint have got a disruptive smoke in play. That nade from Astro will do some damage, but he has to reposition because of that smoke. He's playing all the way back on the A site. So with Endpoint closing the distance here, they've got a chance to try and rush this bomb site.
And rush they shall. Robin in first does try to close the distance rapidly on Astro, but Jenko's there to come in and support. He gets 3 kills. Actually, no, one of them taken away from him. 2 alongside Pulse. And of course, Astro chimed in with his AWP as well. So keeping the vast majority of players alive, again, for Vex does lend itself to a positive. Does build up their economy even further, but Endpoint could very well respond. Full investment back in from them, crucial back on the AWP. And we imagine we get to see that sort of slow, methodical default that we got to see from Vex towards the end of the half. And in fact, Vex start off a little bit aggressive, but after the presence shown and the damage done onto the Endpoint players, will fall back to more passive mainstays on the site.
Surreal quickly took connector control in this round. I think he heard Astro running back to the bomb site. Jenko is currently playing in long bathrooms, so he may be able to be in a position to help out on the bathrooms play, but he's just repositioned, so he will be holding A long instead, or maybe even going aggressive. This is a bit audacious from Jenko, but if he gets the timing right, he could get this flank going, or he could just hold A long. Either options available. And oh no, Thomas goes off the angle just as Jenko pushes. This flank is going to be devastating.
Oh, Thomas has an inkling that's a possibility, but he turns around. He wasn't sure if it could have been a B-sided push either. A few individual timings that could certainly make all the difference. They think the B site could have been compromised, could have been overplayed, but now they push it straight onto B. Fry with the first pulse alongside him. It's doubles for Fry and Mighty Max. 1 versus 5 with the bomb on his back. There's surely no way. He has to back himself away. And well, Jenko puts that to rest. A clean round for Vex. Another moneymaker for them as they've closed the gap considerably on the CT side.
Endpoint are struggling here on this T side. They all group up over in bathrooms. Then once Jenko pushes A long, Endpoint decide to quickly commit to B, which seems like a bit of a strange decision considering they've just seen Vex push out through A long. They must be aware that Vex are probably stacked with at least a fair few players on that B site, but it wasn't really an execute onto B. It was just a quick push that they attempted to go for. Speaking of quick, the rush up connector works for a quick trade onto A. However, Astro gets one back with the AWP. He's in trouble though. Surreal tags him down with the dig, and Endpoint are making something happen here in this one.
They've got their hands on an AK and AWP as well. Ooh, up close and personal, at least eliminates the threat of the AWP early on. Pulse may not be done here. He seems to be still pushing forward for a couple more of these frags, and that greed may have very easily been punished by the Endpoint players. It has allowed for a bit more space for Stanley to get aggressive as well, but Endpoint are backing themselves away considerably to potentially rotate back towards the B bomb site.
Try and make Vex second guess themselves here. Cut the information and make Vexed make a decision as to if they want to play with 2 players on one site or they want to take the risk of splitting up. And Stanley is split up from his teammate, but he's got the timing right on the fight. Crucial sneaks by onto the A bomb site. I'm not sure if his steps have been heard, but the rotate's coming in from Fry. Crucial planting behind the truck, but the Molotov is well placed.
Oh,
as
the
is the
nade.
nade. Crucial is done for. Great utility from Fry. Vexed remain on top of the round. Endpoint take it close, though, with the pistols. That's the closest they've really come on this T side, and that was with the low buy. So maybe with the full buy coming through, Endpoint will be feeling better about their chances.
Yeah, Vex are looking to one-up the performance of Endpoint. So far, these rounds have been altogether a little bit more clean from the Vex side, especially these last few. We saw some of the money-making potential that Endpoint had on their respective CT side, and there were a couple of missteps that landed them in some precarious waters economically. But they've got a decent buffer here now for the Vex camp. Of course, the reinvestment now from Endpoint. Once again, maybe we see a bit of a difference made. That so far the mid-round decision-making has been what looks like a bit indecisive. Not quite sure as to which of the avenues is the safer route. Well, I think that one step by Max in water has scared Vexed off of going for what looked like a boost to start things off with the ult.
Yeah, they were hoping they could nade stack that position and just get a free frag, but unfortunately Max had already moved away. So those nades don't deliver the damage they were hoping. Now Endpoint will start to use some of their default nades into A short, trying to take control of these bathrooms. And as it stands, Vexed are much more focused on the B bomb site. With this 4-man stack, they finally go for that aggression they wanted. So now with a bit of information, they're going to rotate a second man back to assist on the A bomb site. It's a good thing they do, because currently Endpoint are again stacked up in bathrooms, again looking very likely to go for a similar A play. And Vexed, with that aggression on B short, have read this. They've stacked 3 CTs on this A site. Oh, never mind. Astro's rotated away.
I was going to say, it seems like they're a little unsure. They took position in short water, but connector is still very much open to them. It's all about whether they commit that third player over. Astro is now back on the A site. And 20 seconds left. Endpoint need to speed things up considerably. They don't really have the time for any hiccups, any speed bumps coming into this bomb site. And that smoke deployed at long makes things even more difficult, because Kulz can take these wide angle faces. And he's prepared for Surreal as well. They don't have time. They don't even have lives to work with anymore, as Vexed shut down the progress. Endpoint lingering and grinding so much time off of that clock didn't leave a lot of wiggle room for anything to go wrong.
Yeah, and Endpoint, again, have shown much more of a willingness to hit that A-bomb site. They have almost never gone for the B play. The one round they did was that quick push down connector to B after they got flanked by Jenko over at A long, and it wasn't really a full-on execute onto the B site. It was more of a quick play with a couple of nades. So I think overall, Endpoint have probably just got to realize they keep running into A stacks for a reason. It's because Vexed are getting map control elsewhere. They're getting map information elsewhere. And maybe Endpoint would be better off holding their default a little bit longer, maybe spotting for some of that aggression. We'll see if they can figure out the game plan, though, because there's only one round in this. Vexed have had a flawless CT side so far, and Endpoint are going to be looking to change that here with a bye in round 24.
Nade will sail right past. They don't quite find the timing on the presence in short water. And Thomas is probing for information, jumping right past the peak is Fry, and the nade in response does considerable damage. They find a 1-for-1 exchange over at B, and they're moving fast and swiftly over towards B, but they're still locking down these duels. Mighty Max left to his own devices. 1 versus 3, first kill found. Fry's low HP in short water, but it doesn't matter. Fry hits the shot, repositions, and gets 3 kills for the round to lock out the B bomb site. They tie things up. That's 9 in a row for Vexed.
And they're looking good to take the lead. This was looking like almost a certain map win for Endpoint, and all of a sudden it slipped away from them because they're the ones with the weaker bye. They're the ones that are likely to lose out this 13th round. If you'd have told me at halftime that Vexed were going to beat Endpoint to getting a 13th round win on the board, I'd have called you crazy. But it looks like it's going to happen here, unless Endpoint can make some magic happen with the pistols. And Surreal already taking a bit of damage, but Vexed are the ones who take the brunt of the nade damage early in this round. Maybe that could help Endpoint with these pistols.
Yeah, the confidence may be shaken. Thought this could have been a done deal. You win the pistol, you win a few more rounds after, but they couldn't even get step number 1 to fall their way. Pulse spotting out the boost, so no surprises over at B. Stanley's just sitting in front of that smoke, very susceptible to spam, and if that smoke fades, it becomes a bit worrisome. As that timing locked in, and Stanley's looking to take these peaks. First kill found. The Tech9's actually rushed the first 2 players down at long, so Pulse is the last man standing here on this site. Does find a secondary kill, so it's still even numbers for the CTs, but they found another frag with the Tech. Astro has to pull this one back. Switches out to the M4 to make things a little bit easier for himself, and Thomas has been found. He's been spotted, and Max is trying his best to support. For now, Astro doesn't have an easy peek, and Thomas has been able to escape.
Oh, Astro's so certain he's still here. He's clearing out water entirely. It's so much time wasted. Finally, Astro gets the first fight, but Mighty Max can play around the bomb site. He can play the time here. Astro's on the bomb, but Mighty Max is round behind him. Beautifully played by Mighty Max. He slips in to the back lines, and he gets the round for Endpoint. So it is Endpoint who are first to 13 rounds, but it comes way, way closer than you would expect it to. And just about winning with the low buy. Maybe that is the moment for Endpoint to get some momentum back and to take back control of this game.
And if that's to be the case, you can't help but feel for Vexed if it becomes a reality. They get so close to taking their first lead of the game after clawing so many rounds back. They, of course, still have a very strong buy coming into this. A lot of momentum still under their wings as well, but Endpoint may have found a second win. Thomas being dropped early and Fry sustaining a lot of damage in the process. Still an advantage for Vex. They can still keep these players posted to their respective bomb sites, and they're actually taking a bit of initiative, going for a peek in through short. Surreal does spot it out, but it's traded right back, so they still narrowly hold the advantage.
3 remaining Endpoint players all sticking together. Mighty Max, Robin, and Crucial. The 3 Musketeers trying to pull Endpoint back into this round. Astro's pushed through A long, but the A site is clear. This could be an excellent opportunity for Endpoint. They're about to get the bomb planted on this A bomb site. Robin's got another frag as he gets aggressive. They're planting safe on truck, and Endpoint all of a sudden pull the rug. They find the gap in the defense. Now they've got themselves a great opportunity. Mighty Max follows through onto another player. Man advantage for Endpoint and full control of the site, but Stanley nails a shot in reply. Bring it back to an even situation. Astro with a big whiff. That could be costly. Mighty Max still on the bomb site itself. IGL versus IGL in the 1v1, but Mighty Max loses out. Astro just about wins the round for Vex. They just about hold on, but that was so close.
It comes down to another 1v1. The same players. This time, Astro pulls it right back. We may just well end up in a blow-for-blow type scenario now as we've approached the end of regulation. We're getting closer and closer. Only 4 more rounds to play out. Things were looking so good for Endpoint in that round as well. You thought the missed shot from Astra might have been what brought them to number 14, but we stay even. We stay competitive. Endpoint now just deploying a slow default. Make sure there's nothing crazy being implemented in a round like this from Vexed, and well, the crazy element may just be that they're looking to attempt the triple boost, but because they'd messed it up initially, that misstep, they weren't sure if short water had been compromised. It could have very well been an easy frag for Endpoint had they been close enough to hear it.
Big swing round here. Both teams with little money left behind. The loser of this round is likely going to have to make a tough decision with their economy. I think you can feel that pressure on both teams on the server right now. No action at the start of this round. 42 seconds left, and neither side taking a massive risk to start round 27. Stanley is sitting in this smoke, though. Fry is going to flash him through, and oh, it's a second smoke, sorry. That's huge. That's huge. That's going to buy so much time. And Fry even has another Molotov, which can slow things down further. Stanley is sitting in the monster tunnel. This could be a huge round for Vex because Stanley is about to spot them. 15 seconds and everyone surely have to go. Stanley, 1-for-1 trade. Fry in the back lines gets one of his own. Fry looking for more, but it's a 3v3, and Vex have fully stacked this B bomb site. They've got players close by. Astro denies the bomb plant, and that should be it. Crucial can't land the shot in time, and Astro gets the kill on Crucial after time. No money for Crucial, and no real chances for Endpoint in that round. They get shut down.
that smoke could not have come at a better moment for Vex. He thought maybe Stanley gets a few more kills there, but it slows the push down. And again, another situation in which Endpoint collapse on one of these bomb sites, but they don't leave a lot of time for them to operate. 20 seconds, 25 seconds roughly to get the site clear, get the bomb planted, and by the time they get themselves to the site, there's just too many Vex players in proximity. Another well-read defensive portion from Vex, and some crucial kills being found. Astro even just getting it through the smoke to prevent the plant. That was all that they needed. And like you said, that economy comes into play. The tough economic decision has been made by Endpoint. They buy into it. The AKs are out. There's a scout on Surreal as well, and they're hoping that these pistols can supplement these weapons. But Vex have gone for this triple boost over at the B bomb site now. So Astro, that first shot could have bought a little bit more time for these rotations, but all those players are so close towards CT that they can get to the A site rather swiftly.
Yeah, pretty hefty rotation onto the A site. Endpoint aren't pulling the trigger just yet, but it looks likely they are going to be going for this A play. And Stanley, moving in the midst of the smoke, needs to be careful. The pistols are going to be able to trade him out. It's only an MP9 dropped, though. And the rest of Endpoint don't want to commit just yet. A 1-for-1 trade isn't too bad for them. Surreal hears that shot rattle off from the AWP, but he's not got the angle on this player. Fights continue to come through. Astro struggling to land shots, and Surreal puts him down, puts him out of his misery, perhaps, as he lands the wallbang headshot with the scout, and Mighty Max turns back around just in time for the frag. It's Endpoint getting all the kills they need onto the A-bomb site. And Pulse has got to come up clutch for Vexed here. 1 versus 3. Endpoint have somehow made this happen. They somehow brute force the A-bomb site, unless Pulse can stop them. First kill found, but Thomas is there for the trade. And this game just keeps on giving, Yumi. It's Endpoint who win with the weak buy.
I don't know who at Endpoint is selling their soul for rounds like these. They've had pistol rounds see so much success over on B and A respectively. That's another lifeline round. The way they got to 13 was with a scrappy buy. With round number 14, same story. Endpoint tie it up once again, and another time out cold. All of these tactical in nature, because that tense feeling, the crunch time nerves are certainly showing. But each and every time you think it's over, somebody throws a wild card in.
How many wild cards can be left, though, Yumi? How many wild cards are there in a deck?
At least 5.
At least 5. Maybe more in this game,
yeah.
Honestly. They might have rigged the deck. Oh, how did Vex win this, though?
Yeah, because that we talked about the economic situation for Endpoint in that previous round. It is worse, much worse for Vex now. No real rifles can be brought through. It's all upgraded pistols, some utility if possible. The Hail Marys are a little bit more dire for them on that CT side. And they've got Max on a Mac 10 as well, so he can probe to see if there's anybody alive and kicking on a respective site, get some information for the side, allow these rifles to perform.
Yeah, they also have a couple of players without helmets, so that's obviously going to help the Mac 10 if it goes in first. Currently, though, Max is setting up the nades. Thomas and Robin, the two aggro players of the team, are taking the aggression. Stanley gets a 1-for-1 trade up close. Robin looking for shots back, but Endpoint don't look certain they want to commit to this.
Yeah.
Finally, they're going to move in, and there is a slight B stack in play here. Vex got players close behind these smokes. Pulse spams one down. Surely they can't be getting away with this. It's a 3v3 now. And Vex have still got players lurking, but Mighty Max gets his second kill of the round. Crucial. Looks for more, but Jenko gets one of his own, and it's Astro who's got the chance to try and make something happen. Mighty Max low on health with the bomb plant, but Astro can't line up the shot through the smoke this time, so the bomb plant will be allowed, and Max is just sitting in that smoke. It's going to be hard for him to react in time here, but Astro on the other side does go down. You sit in the smoke, you get the advantage in the fight, and Mighty Max is fully aware of that. The man who started the round with the MAC-10 picks up the AK and puts it to use.
I had the strat completely the wrong way around. Mighty Max on the MAC-10. He's the one that's really being set up for the frags there. All of his teammates go in, they get the information, they do some tag damage, and Max finishes off 4 kills to get a 15th round for Endpoint. I don't know what's happening in this game anymore, because like you said, it seemed like they were hesitant to progress into the B site. They didn't have too many players committed off short. There was all this progress out long, and so they couldn't really see how many CTs were close, and then they had that wall of smokes that made things even more awkward. That shouldn't have been as close as it was, but that buy from Vex made things really, really close, and they're going to have to rely on it once again and hope that it pulls up similar results, but better.
Yeah, got to be heartbreaking for Vex to come so close to winning that round, to make it a dangerous round for Endpoint and not come out with the round win, because again, they're in the exact same situation here, as you pointed out. B stack in play for Vex to start this one, but with Endpoint using a few nades over at A long, Vex will make sure they have at least a couple of players on this A side of the map. Jenko's currently trapped in long bathrooms, so he's going to probably have to just fight his way out of this one. Astro's there somewhat close by to assist, but here we go. Jenko being pushed from both sides, gets 1 kill. That's already decent, but the flank will definitely spell his death. A 1-for-1 trade isn't too bad to start this round, though. And Astro almost caught on the rotate back.
Oh, Robin's found another frag. They have Stanley pushed through the connector. He's made a step. They haven't heard it. He comes up on the flank, but he hasn't hit a shot. Turned around. They know he's there. Fry trying to capitalize on that, but it's done. Endpoint seal in the 16th round, 16-14.